Welcome back, everyone, to the second session of the day. It brings us to one of the most pressing topics in global insurance, how to build resilience in an era where risks are increasingly interconnected, from climate change and geopolitical tension to shifting economic forces. Moderating this critical discussion is Mr. Gamal Sak, the Regional Director for Northeast Africa and Middle East and Africa Reinsurance Corporation, Africa Re, the main sponsor of Sharm Rendezvous. Welcome him on stage. And he's joined by a panel of esteemed speakers, Mr. Lars Lang, Secretary General of the International Union of Marine Insurance. Please join me in welcoming him. I do wish you a fruitful discussion. This session is supposed to run for an hour and a half, and we will allow for a 10-minute Q&A at the end of the discussion.
Thank you very much. Very quickly, and as an opening remarks, in an era as insurers and reinsurers, risks and uncertainty are not strangers to us. They are the very foundation of our business. The uncertainty of tomorrow is precisely why insurance exists, to provide stability amid volatility and confidence amid doubt. For as long as uncertainty persists, our relevance endures, marked by rising geopolitical tension, accelerating climate change, and persistent economic volatility. Today, risk landscape is no longer isolated or predictable. Threats are increasing, overlapping across border sectors, challenging the ability of economies and societies to recover when crises strike. Against this background, the insurance industry stands at a critical position, uniquely positioned to absorb shocks, distribute risk globally, and stimulate innovation solutions that bolster long-term resistance and sustainability. Just quickly, as Africa Re, we believe that unpredictability, born of limited knowledge or experience, will remain part of our reality. The cycle of uncertainty will not stop. That is why we have owned what we call our active waiting posture, combining pragmatism, preparedness, and a can-do spirit to stay agile in the face of consistent change. Now I will pass the discussion to each speaker to present his presentation. I will ask, please, every speaker to stick to 10 minutes to continue, and please allow me that I will signal you 2 minutes before the 10 minutes, so we can all assure sticking to the time, inshallah. So I will ask first Mr. Lars Lang, to present it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Many thanks for having me. Many thanks for the invitation to IFE, and thrilled to be here in a very, as we have learned the last 2 days, in a very emerging market, extremely interesting for us as well. So as you will see, our panel is a bit more diverse than the first panel here this morning on AI was. So we will shed light on the topic at hand from rather different directions. And as we see here, so I took the title from the panel also for my presentation, it bears a lot. Actually, there are 4 separate topics in it. The first is building resilience and what's the role of insurance in it. Second is climate, which is extremely comprehensive. So we'll scratch the surface here, but nevertheless, insurance has to play a role in that. The third is geopolitics, which is particularly for my line of business, marine insurance, of extreme importance currently. And the fourth is economic risks, and that has also been quite 12 bumpy months behind us, where we saw a lot of new trade restrictions and fragmentation of trade, which is not really in the sense of insurance and particularly marine insurance. So as said, we have a diverse panel. You will listen to me next 10 minutes on the Marine Insurance Association's perspective. Marine insurance, very shortly, is covering the hull. We insure the vessels underway. That is the cargo. We insure goods underway. We do also offshore, but that's not really relevant present here. And IUMI, in a word, is the World Association of Marine Insurers. Our system is that we have 43 countries around the world as our members, beyond others. Egypt, the International Federation of Egyptian Insurers, is our local member, and via the association, all the insurers here, we have 95% of the world market. Everybody is represented, only minor countries missing, so we can really speak on behalf of the industry. So building resilience, and particularly since we're here on an insurance conference, the role of insurers in building resilience. What I would say when we talk about geopolitics, about climate, about economic risks, we are not the core player, and we are pretty well aware. So we wouldn't influence, as insurance industry, geopolitics. We wouldn't influence alone the climate. So we are not the core player, but nevertheless, and that is my true belief, we are a key player. And why are we a key player? And why are we what I would like to call a facilitator for our clients? We're a service industry as insurers for our clients. And I put this here in a very few words. Our advantage is simply we see many risks at the same time. We build expertise over time, we build experience over time, and particularly when you look at marine insurance, large part of our job is to give advice to our clients, to guide our clients, to be a kind of an early warning system to our clients, and to help them to match with risks emerging and also with trends showing up at the horizon. So we know the markets, we know the emerging risks, and we can give advice how to tackle that. And that brings us back to A, climate, then B, geopolitics, and then C, economy. So when we as IUMI, as marine insurers, embarked on the topic, that is about 6 years ago, we were really reluctant, since it's not directly related to the risk. And this is why we had what we do very rarely. We had a survey with our members and asked them, should we embark in climate? And it was overwhelming, over 90% said, yes, we have to. That is too close to our business not to do anything. And we then came up with an ESG strategy, which is much more than climate, environmental, social governance. Obviously, we will focus here on environmental, and said we have to be concrete. So what, for example, is our topics as marine insurers in the environmental space? We insure shipping, as said. And what is very much the elephant in the room currently in the shipping industry is decarbonization. So shipping is still responsible for 3% of global gashouse emissions, and that has to be stopped by 2050. So there's a policy underway at the International Maritime Organization. Shipping will be carbon neutral at 2050, and we will see entirely different ships, which will not be run by fossil fuels any longer, but by methanol or by ammonia or by nuclear. We don't know exactly yet. And that changes very much, of course, also the insured risks. And this is where we team up with our clients, and this is where we can help them. And what we do as well on the lobbying side is that we lobby, I mentioned the International Maritime Organization, we lobby on how to tackle the risks connected with changing the fuel technology entirely on board. So that comes back to what I said, we are not the core player, but we're a key player. We can help to manage this change safely. I said already we try to do this concretely. That is a few examples of concrete initiatives which we run together with our members on the ESG side. And you see decarbonization mentioned here as well. And we have an industry initiative which is called Poseidon Principles for Marine Insurance. That is a tool with which you measure the emissions of your insured fleets, of the vessels which you have insured, and that gives you an educated decision-making base on how to insure in the future. It would enable you to decide, I want to insure less emissions, so to say. At least you are able to decide. That is very important, and it's very concrete. We can't dive into detail here. So the second is geopolitical. but to marine insurance does also belong war insurance. And we still grant cover. We still grant cover in the Black Sea. We still grant cover in the Red Sea, where we see very next to your door here, still see Houthi attacks happen on commercial vessels. We have sabotage in the Baltic Sea, terrorism, I mentioned the Red Sea. We have still piracy going on, particularly currently in the Gulf of Guinea, which is a bit special. And again, we have a role as insurer to tackle that. So first of all, as I already mentioned, we are able to grant insurance cover. But we can do more than that, since we know all the stakeholders. So when it comes to the Red Sea here, for example, us as a spokesbody for the insurance industry, we can talk to military missions, for example, the European operation Aspides, for example. We talk to them. We explain what marine insurance can do, cannot do, what we would like to see from the military side. We can talk to the Suez Canal authorities here in Egypt, as we did when we had a conference in May together with our member association, and explain what marine insurance role is about that. So we can help facilitating that, and again, can play as a key player, as a partner for our clients, and try to tackle that. And finally, when it comes to economic risks, that is a bit more indirect, but nevertheless. So we see lots of new tariffs introduced. We see already since Cuba, then Iran, then North Korea, now Russia. We see sanctions directed directly against the insurance industry, particularly marine insurance. We are not allowed to insure many risks any longer in many regions, whether this is Europe or in America or in Japan. There are Russian sanctions in place, which we have to comply with. And we do also see tariffs which may influence trade patterns and trade routes in the future. We had a graph at our most recent conference where we already saw a slight shift in the meantime caused by the tariffs introduced by the US regime. So we saw already, when you look on trade out of China, you saw already a decrease. Obviously, in the United States, you saw an increase to European countries, to Africa, also to Middle East. And we can help our clients assessing, so what will this look about in the future? And moreover, we have, of course, a keen interest in free trade, and we are a humble, small organization, but we are one of the voices in the concert which is very clearly appealing for free trade. We have no interest in a more fragmented or more regionalized world business in the future. So that is a very short kick-off on these topics at hand, and I look very much forward to our more in-depth debate after the kick-off. Thank you very much.